Hi, this is Eric from BSF Recovery Team, driver of the Extreme Off-Road Wrecker, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Hey, welcome to the XJ Talk Show pre-show. We're just getting going here. Running a little bit late tonight, but I did do some preparation work last night and just had to do a little cleanup on the Jeep tip segment that we're going to be playing. And Josh has already joined me. Good evening, Josh.
Howdy-ho.
So as anybody that's been here in the past, you know the routine. We go about 10 or 15 minutes on the pre-show. That's just going to be me and Josh talking about things that are going to happen on the show. A little bit under the cover, so to speak, in a totally platonic way, what's going on with the show. And if that ruins it for you, you might want to come back in about 8 minutes. I spent a little too much time on editing the Jeep Tips segment. I think I put it correct in the show notes. It should be the Winching 2.
Let me scroll down here. I'm just sort of doing some last-minute editing on Story 2 for This Week in Jeep. Winching, Part 2. Yeah, 11 minutes, 4 seconds.
And, okay, good. I see you did read the paragraph there at the bottom.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to try my darndest. Feel free to jump in there and say, moving along.
If only I had a mute button.
Don't threaten me. I'll use it on you.
I know you will. I think you have in the past, even.
I don't think I actually ever have, unless it was one of those times whenever you were, Skyping real bad, and I knew that you would be bemoaning, why did you let me go on?
Well, Josh, you sounded like crap. I'm sorry. I had to. Left me no choice.
I'd rather have you sounding like crap than not be here at all.
If you're worried about our time frame, worried that we might have too much content for tonight's show, I can take out one of these stories.
No, let's do it.
Okay.
I like the idea of jam-packing as much entertainment goodness into an hour that we can.
Yeah, I agree.
Taking it to the next level, so to speak, and not wandering aimlessly as much as I know I like to do, and I think you do as well.
Mm-hmm.
We already, I was noticing that we have a couple of folks already in the comment area, the chat room, I guess you could say. Wesley Revel.
Yeah, that's 92 War Wagon on xjtalk.com.
Yep, he changed his name during the pre-show to 02 War Wagon, and then changed it to 92 War Wagon. Also, too, James is in there.
I wonder, is this the same James that left us a voicemail last couple episodes?
I'm not sure. I'm not real good with the last names of everybody, but I thought that was James, our fearless moderator.
Okay. Yeah, it could be.
In somewhere in parts unknown, unless he's back in the States.
I'm bad with the last names too, so I'm horrible with names. Period.
It's funny how I can. I'm almost 100% accurate with girl names, and over 100% accurate if they're pretty.
Yeah.
So I need to grab the show opener.
That should be in there by now. I did upload it just it's been about 10 minutes.
No, I saw a couple of notifications on it this time, so I know it's on my PC. Just got to go over there and get it.
You get a chance to listen to that other thing that I put in there?
No, I did not.
Okay, no worries. And then I'm working on, I told you a little bit about it today. I actually spent a little bit of time with it tonight. working on a character that hopefully we might be able to introduce into the show every now and again.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Every now and again, I mean like maybe once a month. I don't want to burn people out on it, and I certainly don't want to get too overwhelmed with trying to create content for said character. So,
right. Well, the Josh's Subconscious thing has been a lot of fun.
That has been a lot of fun, in fact.
And even more so since we're not doing it.
Yeah.
It's fun, because you don't know what's going to come out of that guy's mouth. No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there was one time I listened to it ahead of time, and I wish I hadn't because it kind of spoiled it, And so I see the notifications pop up that Josh's Subconscious 3 uploaded, and it's like, oh, I kind of want to, but I don't, I shouldn't, So.
Well, I'm not all red this time, so I think I've got
good.
Yeah, I think I got the lighting set properly, or actually the camera set properly. I'm actually a little faded out, I believe, but I'm gonna leave it like that.
How much do you want to set a time limit on ball joints, or do you just kind of want to see where we're at in the show before we decide that in the chit chat?
Well, you could do one, I'll do mine, and then you can do your next one.
Okay.
And what you see there is what I'm going to try to stick with.
Okay, perfect.
You know what I'm saying? That's how tight I'm trying to keep that.
In fact, my Carnage story plays right into your ball.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys understand or not, but Josh and I will chat a little bit on text type chat, like on Google Plus or somewhere like that, somewhat during the week. But really, the only time we see or talk to each other is right here between right at the first part of the show and at the end of the show. So I don't know about his Carnage. So whenever you guys are hearing about it, I'll be hearing about it too.
The review that we have down there, is that from iTunes?
Yes, it is. Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry. You couldn't tell, could you?
No. I was kind of assuming just because of the format, but I wanted to make sure before I, committed to that assumption.
Yeah. I went and looked on Stitcher, and we still just have the 2. Hint to all you listeners out there. Go over to Stitcher and give us some 5-star reviews. God, it's not that difficult. Thank you. It's pretty cool music. I like that.
Yeah, I like the bluesy kind of stuff. All right, I think I'm about set. So as long as you got your board loaded up, whenever you get to that, I think we'll be ready to go.
I want to read through this real quick so I don't fumble through it so much. It'd be cool if we get this timing right on this, where right now coincides with the last couple of seconds of music intro.
Yeah, you don't have to read that part, though. Turn to page 2. Oh, whoops.
Oh, I'm a professional. I have somebody turn the pages for me. This is the XJ Talk Show, a podcast about Jeep Cherokees, off-roading, and tech that you need to get there and back. The tech that you need to get there and back. I had trouble with that one last time. This is the XJ Talk Show, a podcast about Jeep Cherokees, off-roading, and the tech that you need to get you there and back. We're here to promote the web's most premier website for all that is Jeep Cherokee, xjtalk.com. The friendliest, the most helpful Jeep site on the web, if you exclude pirate. xjtalk.com encourages and answers the questions and concerns the first-time XJ owners typically have without flaming or criticism. all while giving you the best, most in-depth articles and write-ups for repairs and modifications and take your average XJ to the next level. Now, get ready. It's the XJ Talk Show starts right now.
Like the enthusiasm.
Yep. The rest of it sucked. Anyway, so, gosh, that's only about 30 seconds, do you think?
Yeah, about that. I wasn't timing you, so, which reminds me, I should put my phone on silent.
Yep. I'm thinking that's about 30 seconds. So
you nailed it. You've nailed it a couple of times.
Oh, really? I just remember once getting it get the timing down right once. It's not as easy as you think, girls.
No, well, yeah, he's right, folks. What do they say? It's like the comedy world. Timing is everything.
Mm-hmm. That and explosives.
Ah.
So let's see. I think.
Oh, my studio is just a pigsty. I've got too much stuff in here.
Oh, I need a pig drop.
Oh, I've got cords and cables for chargers and recorders and stuff. Notes and notebooks, and I've got a thing of Reese's peanut butter cups in here, and some not Halloween, freaking Valentine's Day candy.
Oh, okay. I got nothing for Valentine's Day and liked it.
As Alfred Brimley would say, it keeps the diabetes down.
Diabetes is. Okay, let's see. Give me a little chatter there. I haven't set your levels in years.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully it's right about the same, or where it should be at least. I haven't done really anything. I messed with my gate a little bit earlier as I was trying to take care of some background noise, but I didn't adjust any other level.
Yeah, you just sounded a little lower than me, so I wanted to. Normally I would like that. I actually have you a little lower on the screen. No, I got you up kind of high. So anyway, okay, so let me check the levels on this one. Make a final decision for which one I'm going to play. I just like the Hey Stud. I'm going to play that one.
I do too. The girl stuff at the beginning of the intro, it's a nice contrast to, well, you and I.
My name's fucking Audrey, kid, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
She's been pretty quiet here last couple of weeks. I think she's busy driving people nuts.
Oh, we're at 406 subscribers now? I didn't even see that until just now.
Oh, actually, no, 409. That needs to be updated.
Oh, updating it right now then.
And
I know who the 400th was.
No, I have really no way of knowing.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
There was two people. There was two people that I went, oh wow, 400. Okay, I just saw that email. Great. I went and looked, and it was 401. So it was one or the other, one of the two people that I don't know. So we'll just say who's going to be the 500th. We'll just lead them on all the way to 1 million.
Was it one of them that were in this list? One of these four? No.
That's a panic pick names from the list.
Okay.
I just kind of randomly grabbed some because I was busy editing a bunch of stuff last night.
Speaking of editing stuff, since we're doing this on it's been a regular basis now, do we want to get a master list going?
Yeah. Need to go and go back to the other show notes and pull the names that we've already.
That's what I was talking about. I go through there and yank those out, throw them in an email or another Google Docs or something, and that way we can make sure we don't have any repeats.
Yep. Sad thing is, I only think about this stuff while I'm at work, and I'm usually busy.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. I get in here in the studio and I'm doing other stuff, and excuse me, and I don't get to do the show stuff.
Hey, this is Vicky G.
Hi guys, this is James. Spells.
You can keep talking.
Hey,
I'll just look at the levels.
Am I seeing this right? We got 5 voicemails tonight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, sir. Well,
Okay.
we've got 4 voicemails and a Josh Subconscious, but we'll play it,
Right. Yeah.
I think maybe what we can do is take a little break. Talk a little bit after the 4th voicemail, or we can make a couple of quick comments between them.
Oh, crap. That reminds me. So we got 2 voicemails. I got the notifications from you. Crap. Where'd they go? Was that in...
Yeah, I forwarded you the one. I think I forwarded you one from James and Terry. Those are kind of PSA type things. So we might want to take a break and say something about those.
Well, that's what I was saying. If we want to use those as the break between the voicemail stuff and Josh's Subconscious.
Yeah, the way I put it up was just like the notes. I got the James, Nikki 1, Terry, Nikki 2, and then Josh's Subconscious. So I figure we can do a quick something after each one of the voicemails. That way,
all right, you got a Nikki G in front of Josh's Subconscious.
Yes, there's 2 Nikki Gs.
Okay.
One is about 15 seconds long. I think that's the Nikki G2.
Yep.
One's a minute. The other one's 12 seconds, actually.
Okay.
So we'll take a little very short pause between each one of them. So it might be you say something, me say something, and then we'll go on to the next one.
Very good.
And if you talk over it, you get muted for the rest of the show.
Big red button.
Sorry, we play hardball around here. Well, it's not 10:15 yet, so I guess we should wait. That's a joke, guys. We try to get started at 10. We never do.
Rarely ever.
So I'll probably wait after we're winding down on a segment, which I don't have them in front of me. I'll probably play something like play the Amazon promo again, which we really don't have time for this show, but I was thinking about we get back into the reading the Amazon stuff. We got a lot of stuff on the Amazon purchase list. So we'll probably want to work that into next show because I want to get back to thanking these people for going to Amazon and buying these things and having the fun of hearing your stuff said on the show.
I've even purchased some stuff on Amazon recently.
I saw something in there about a 12-inch something or another.
Hey now.
Oh, that was a wrench, I think. I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't really looked that closely, so didn't want to out you or anything.
Yeah, when it's 12 inches, you don't have to look that close.
Is that thing real?
All right.
Well, let's get it going. I think I got everything right here. I think I even have the show notes position where I can get back and forth to them without panicking or you being blanked out.
Wes Revel says you look beautiful, Tony. So
let me. We could do that again, I suppose. I like that bass.
Yeah.
Stereo. Oh, I need to fade it when I say stereo. Fade it from left to right. Well, we can show the folks what we look like right here real quick. It's a pre-show. We can do whatever the hell we want to do. All right. Enough of that. And the monkey presses the button. I was actually going to audio record the pre-show today, and I forgot all about it. Got too busy. Got too interested in talking. Strange, I know.
Breaking news at the XJ Talk Show News Desk. Federal agents raid Texas gun shop and find weapons. In other news, cows lose their jobs as milk prices drop. Full report coming up right after this.
Hey, stud. It's time for the XJ Talk Show. Now, here's my 2 favorite boys, Tony and Josh.
Well, welcome to episode 118. That's like 118 or something, isn't it, Josh?
Something like that. I lost count after all the fingers and toes, and I'm just looking at some random numbers here. So either way, I'm glad we're up into the triple digits now. It's a lot of fun.
I have this really weird counting system. I can go to 21, and then I put a mark on my body. So it's like 21, and then I start counting at 22, and there's another mark. And I guess it's like tattoos. I promised myself I'd never get a tattoo, but I guess I'm doing it with 118 marks or whatever it would be. I have to count the marks, Josh. I'm off. I didn't think this through.
I never pictured you as a cutter, Tony.
Oh, gee whiz. Well, guys, as you may remember, we're here from the xjtalk.com website, and we're really happy to be here. We're happy to be anywhere, I think, Josh, especially on a Thursday night. You getting ready for Friday night?
Oh, man, I cannot wait. Yeah, Friday, be looking forward to it.
Hey, we're going to have a lot of great stuff here on the show. We've got a couple of great segments, including our new Wrangler segment, which we have not named yet, Josh, and we've gotten a couple of suggestions. One was the topless segment, but I'm afraid that would require us to remove our shirts.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody wants to see that, so we might have to move to Plan B. But you guys keep on calling in with those suggestions, and we'll keep airing them.
Yep, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere. We'll really appreciate any suggestion that you may have. So. Keep them coming.
Yep, we got a couple stories for you in This Week in Jeep, and got some voicemails, a couple stories to share with you guys, all kinds of good stuff. Got a lot of stuff to get to in the show, so we'll hopefully be able to get to it all.
Hey, this is the XJ Talk Show, a podcast about Jeep Cherokees, off-roading, and the tech you need to get there and back. We're here to promote the web's most premier website for all that is Jeep Cherokee, xjtalk.com, the friendly and most helpful Jeep site on the web. xjtalk.com encourages answers to all questions and concerns that the first-time XJ owner typically has without flaming or criticism, all while giving you the best, most in-depth articles and write-ups for the repairs and modifications that take your average XJ to the next level. Now get ready. It's the XJ Talk Show.
This Week in Jeep.
The Easter eggs have been uncovered, folks. And I know it's not even St. Patrick's Day yet, and I'm already talking about Easter. But it's not the holiday I'm referring to. No, it's the little tidbit of information I mentioned on episode 117. That would be the episode right before this one. Just last week, where I discussed the 7 things Jeep is focusing on in 2014. And item number 6 was the fact that Jeep is going to be doing its best to maintain a focus on its heritage. Now, whether it's by keeping the iconic trapezoidal wheel arches or with hidden Easter eggs, you can expect Jeep to remain, well, Jeep. Now, what is an Easter egg, you ask? Well, it's not a tie-dyed, hard-boiled AA large stashed in the center console. Nope. In the case of Jeep, well, it's a way for Jeep engineers and designers to have some fun while giving a nod to Jeep's heritage. It's those eggs, those little Easter eggs, that had some of you, like Rich Young via Twitter, digging into some research and supplying me with this week's first story. Now, many of the Easter eggs are already out there. Some of these have most likely been seen as they have been around for nearly 4 years, hiding in plain sight. And some will come later on in the year, but so far the list is pretty cool. Now, with things like the image of a Jeep grill on the windows of all JKs produced since 2010, next time you see one in traffic, look at the top center of the windshield right in front of the rear view mirror, and you're sure to see it. Some JKs also have the image of a Jeep climbing the corner of the windshield in the lower right-hand corner. Now, there is a small silhouette of an MB on the wheels of the Sahara and Rubicon models as well. And for those who don't know, the MB was the designator for the iconic Willys Army Jeep. Now, our beloved 2014 Cherokee got several, with an image of a Willys Jeep on the center display when parking, and also has the telltale 7-slot grille and headlights under the hood, and this can also be seen in the radio of the 2014 Cherokee. Upon closer inspection outside the vehicle, you would find the MB silhouette on the corner of the windshield as well. And that's not all. For those who are extremely adventurous, the coordinates of Hell's Revenge and a trail map have appeared underneath the seats of certain models of the 2014 Cherokee. Now, I'm guessing these only pop up in the Trailhawk versions for obvious reasons. Now, if you know of any others, man, I would love to hear about them, so please let me know. Now, our other story, it's not just another stolen Jeep, and those two words don't ring very well with any of us, stolen Jeep. Guy by the name of Donovan Dorosky. He's in Seattle this week to prepare for a bone marrow transplant that could potentially save his life. He's been diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma just about 2 years ago. The custom Jeep Cherokee that he had, it distracted him from his physical battle. His custom Jeep was stolen Tuesday night from his motel parking lot. He got the surveillance video and hopes the public, you guys, can help him get his wheels back. He says just about a month ago he got the thing. He's 20 years old. He's from Hood River, Oregon, just outside of my neck of the woods. He's been saving up for a long time to get it, and he was pretty disappointed that someone would do this sort of thing. Now, the surveillance video from the hotel near Denny Park shows someone casing the parking lot, trying the locked door of the 99 Cherokee, seeing that it was locked, and then left. Only to return less than an hour later, the suspect unlocked the car with a key nonetheless and drove it off. It's devastating, says his father, Keith Dorosky, who will be Donovan's marrow donor in a couple weeks. Donovan's already going through quite a bit. The Jeep was just one of the things he used to focus on to get his mind off of all the physical things that are going on in his life right now, dealing with the cancer. The vehicle's a 99 white two-door Jeep Cherokee with bushwhacker fender flares, large tires, and a decal that says XTC Truck and Toy across the top of the back window. Jeep has Oregon license plates, and the number is 710GQK. If you see it, please, guys, call Seattle Police. Let's see if we can't get this kid's XJ back to him. Hey, if you guys know a story that you think should be aired here on the This Week in Jeep segment, you'd like to submit a story to be aired on This Week in Jeep, please send an email to newstips@xjtalk.com.
Absolutely. Man, I hate to hear about that. Was it a red Jeep?
No, it was white. But it was. There's a link I posted up on xjtalk.com. I posted up a picture of this as well, showing the Jeep and the license plate number. It looks like he's got around 32 or 33-inch BFG all-terrains. It's a very, very clean white late model XJ, slightly tinted windows. It's not an extreme rock crawler. It's just a very, very clean two-door late model Cherokee. And this kid obviously has a lot of passion, a lot of pride in it. And it's just really a damn shame that this happened. Obviously, the thief didn't know he was stealing from a cancer patient. But nonetheless, it's a bad situation, and hopefully we can get this kid's Cherokee back to him soon.
Well, sometimes, especially these days, it doesn't seem to matter to anybody who they're stealing from or what. They're just going to take it, and good for them and bad for the person they're taking it from. So definitely sorry to hear about that, and hope the prayers to the young man and for remission in his cancer.
Indeed.
Hey, on a more upbeat note, we are going to have our first Wrangler segment, and again, we're looking to you guys to help us name the said Wrangler segment, something colorful, something that might titillate and bring in more viewers and listeners. We did have one person suggest I don't think it was the topless segment, but it was topless tips, or that might be kind of redundant.
And if there's a Freudian slip in there, we might get in trouble.
So want to welcome Rob to the team, and you heard the little promo that he did up for us on the last show. And now we're going to talk, but now we're going to hear from Rob and in his first segment, hopefully a long time member here. Let us know what you'd like to hear about on this Wrangler segment. And Rob actually leaves some information here that you can contact him to let him know what you'd like to hear about. And we'll have to take a little pause.
Everything all right over there, Tony?
Yep. Okay, let's do a little extra long pause, more so than what we've already done, and so I'll know where to edit.
Hey guys, I'm Rob from CoolGuyStuff.tv. I am joining the boys over here at the XJ Talk Show to bring you a brand new segment about Wranglers. We kind of promoted this last week, and today we're going to get into it. So let's start with this. I've had many Wranglers in my time. I've had, probably 6 or 7 of them, dating back from the early 90s all the way to my current one is a 2011. What I've noticed is that, like most others, I love to get a hold of this thing and start doing stuff to it just to kind of make it my own. And some things are hardcore and some things are really simple, but there is no better way to give your Wrangler the look that you're going for than a quick lift with some wheels, tires, and bumpers. They seem to make everything look differently. Now, there's been all kinds of bumpers out there from all kinds of companies and all kinds of price points. What I've noticed, though, when the new body style of the Wrangler started being made, a lot more companies started putting design into their bumpers. So the new Jeep body style looks a lot different than the old one. And for some reason, there's something about it. Maybe it's because it's a little wider or something, but it just looks like a beast when you put some heavy-duty bumpers on it with a lift and some tires. What I want to talk about today specifically is the rear bumper tire carrier combo. There are a lot of them out there, and they all have different price points and different features, but there is no other rear bumper tire carrier combo on the market that comes close to this thing that I've seen. It's called the Rock Brawler 2. It's by a company called Poison Spider. I'm sure you can find them online. And this thing is built like a tank. It will survive a nuclear holocaust. It is crazy in design and it's really, really cool looking. So what they've done is they've made this thing super hardcore by design, in the build and all this other stuff. But they gave it a lot of style. So you're really going to find, if you're looking for that rear bumper tire combo thing going on, you're really going to find that the design of this thing will make your Wrangler look hot. It's built solid from CNC laser cut brake form plate steel for one, which makes it super strong. And the designs are all the angles are reinforced, that kind of thing. The tire cover part is the tire carrier part, is built based on a triangle, which is, the strongest shape that you can possibly have in design. And it is angled and cut for high clearance as well as avoidance on those corner rocks and that kind of thing. So it's really got a sexy look to it. And it's built to withstand the hardest core trails that you can possibly put it through. Now, the actual design of the bumper is it's pretty cool looking because of all the angles, but it does have a couple cool features about it too. One being the recovery shackles. They went ahead and welded on a 3/4 inch recovery shackle, 2 of them, made out of that same CNC steel, and they are pretty heavy duty, as well as something a little different, which you find in some, but it's not very often. You find recessed backup lamps already built into the bumper. So on the bumper, they literally have the cutouts, and it's all machined nicely to have recessed backup lamps. And when I say recessed, I mean they set in a little bit so they don't break, basically. They're 2.5 inch LED lights, so you can either buy them from them, or you can actually, just get some aftermarket ones and put them in yourself. Simple to install, really cool looking, and actually a great feature if you've ever been out on the trail at night. There is no such thing as a street light out there, so backing up is really nice when you got a little extra lighting. Aside from that, they give you this cool little license plate relocation spot that sits in the middle of your tire, which is kind of cool because that license plate gets bent up and tore up all the time when you come across things, whether it be rocks or trees or anything. I've seen it a lot so it's kind of a nice little perk, nothing too great. The way this thing is designed is that as you're going across the bumper towards the middle, they have a big notch cut out of it. And that notch is designed to fit a 42-inch tire. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But it makes it look really cool, and it also gives the whole look while it's on your vehicle. It gives it a great look, almost a factory look, and you also don't lose any visibility from that notch, believe it or not. So they went ahead and integrated the 2-inch hitch into the bumper instead of just the Rock Brawler 1, the original one, had a cutout for the factory. But the factory one sits a couple inches lower, so you'd clip that a lot when you're coming off of rocks and stuff. But so what you have here is you have one built right into the bumper, and it gives you that extra couple inches. And plus, the design and the shape of it is designed to kind of slide off anything that you may bottom out on. Moving on, though, to the tire carrier. So the tire carrier is a two-way moving part. That means you can move it up and down or in and out. Now, remember I told you about that notch for the 42-inch, up to 42-inch tire? What you could do is, because the tire carrier cover, the tire carrier part drops down or moves up, it allows you to drop it down when you have a big tire on it, and it sits the tire lower to the ground on the vehicle. It doesn't go past the bumper, but it gives it that few more inches so you have great visibility out the back window, as well as not look like you got this monster thing just stuck to the roof of your car, So it's really a nice feature when it comes to just the way they designed it. They really thought that out well. And in and out is so when you have the fat tires that you can kind of push that tire cover out or carrier out, or you can recess it in if you got the thinner one and keep it clean on there. There is an option that you can have that your hijack mount directly. They have a mount for it basically, and it's an extra $69 to the price. But $70 to get that jack up out of the way, you're golden. So that covers a lot of the cool things. One cool thing about it, before I leave the carrier part, is when you bring that carrier to the hinge, it's got this really cool looking spider web. Obviously, Poison Spider Designs, they gave it their own flavor, but it looks really cool. Makes it look really hardcore. That leads us to two of probably the best features and the features that sets it apart from any other bumper that I've seen. It is a single action opening tailgate. So what I mean by that is the tire carrier actually mounts to the tailgate. So you can, with one hand, use your factory opener on your tailgate, the handle, and you can open it and swing it out. So if you think about it, though, the design of that it's pretty trick, because you have two moving parts swinging at two different pivot points, and they need to stay together when they do it. So they put a lot of design into the way they attach that. And there's actually a YouTube video that you could check out by the boys over there at Poison Spider, that they actually show you all of the details that they've done for this bumper. But the fact that it opens from the tailgate is a huge perk for those of you that had any of these kind of bumpers before. It really sucks when you got to swing out the tire, then you got to open the tailgate. It drove me nuts. It almost makes it not worth buying the tire cover. Almost, not quite, but it's so, to me, it's so annoying and inconvenient that I really didn't like that. This resolved that issue, and it resolved it well. There's no rattling around. There's no nothing. It's super tight to that tailgate, so you just kind of, when you open it and close it, it's locked in tight. Let's move on to the hinge assembly. Now, the hinge assembly is also something very different than I've seen on any other Jeep kind of consumer product that you could just buy right off the floor. It is extremely heavy duty. It's also a CNC machine spindle and housing. It's at the same location as you see all the others. So it sits kind of towards the end of the bumper, and it's welded right to the top. And inside that spindle and housing is a pair of Timken tapered roller bearings. So this thing is super smooth and quiet. It's packed with grease, and it's topped off with a really cool weatherproof Poison Spider custom cap that they put on there. And this thing is it's built to last for years, the test of time. You know, it has something like 10,000 miles of I guess driving on that before you have to service the bearings and stuff in it. So that is literally thousands of opening and closings of that tailgate. Now, it is cool though that you can service them. So part of being so high level, you have to keep everything quiet and rattling around. They use the best stuff. They actually take some technology that comes on different RVs about things, and they packed it into this assembly, this hinge assembly. So you can take that top off and you can repack those bearings and you can change them out if you ever needed to, and you can do all that other kind of stuff. So it really makes this thing last forever. Now there's one small speed bump. For a lot of us, it's a speed bump. For some of you, it's not. But for me, it seems a little costly. Not that it's overpriced, because the technology and the quality is so high in the design and in the build that it's definitely worth the price. It's just expensive for a bumper. The MSRP on it is $1,629.90, so $1,629.90. That's kind of steep for one bumper, right? I mean, most bumpers you'll find out there, they're starting to push that limit now anyway, but it's just a big chunk of change for one bumper. You can get the bumper directly from them, however, for $1,479, which is, save you $140, $150. Don't forget to add the $69 jack mount. So that brings it up to another, by the time you get done with tax, another $80. So, this thing can get costly quick. It's powder coated, obviously, with a super thick powder coating that should hold up. And if you're gonna buy the bumper, if you're gonna go for the expensive, investment, and it is an investment, because the one time you drop off a steep rock and you smack it with a factory bumper or something, you realize that your car is going to be affected by it. The body of your vehicle will be affected by it. So investing in bumpers like this are really kind of smart. But if you can swing it, you definitely, hands down, no doubt about it, should go out and get one of these Rock Brawler 2 rear bumper tire carriers by Poison Spider. It is, again, I can't say enough good things about this. I am personally saving my pennies today so I can get mine. So guys, that is about it for us. I hope that this segment works out fine for you guys. If there's anything that you guys actually want me to cover, or if there's anything you want to hear, just feel free to kind of email the guys in at the show, and they will pass that on to me. You can also email me direct if you'd like, at Rob, R-O-B, at coolguystuff, COOLGUYSTUFF.TV. And you can request, you could request a review, or if you want me to hit on something or talk about something, just go ahead and send me that info. I'm more than happy to oblige. You guys can also find me at www.coolguystuff.tv, or check me out on Twitter, X Rob Spencer X. That's XROBSPENCERX. It's a great place to show off your Jeeps, kind of share some stories. Until then, Jeep family, have a good week.
Well, I can't thank Rob enough for submitting that little segment there. Really appreciate having the extra help and a little bit of extra content here in the show. And obviously, he gave us some contact information there. If you guys would like to, submit something for him to touch on, that's cool. You could also give us a call on our 24/7 voicemail line at 530-675-4102 with your suggestions for Rob's Wrangler segment. So moving right along, guys, we're trying to diversify a little bit here with things like some Wrangler tech for you guys. We're going to get all kinds of tech going for you this evening. We do have Jeep tips coming up later in the show, but right now I'd like to go ahead and give some thanks to where some thanks is due to some of our new YouTube subscribers. Now, last show, we weren't quite at the 400 mark, and some people stepped up to the plate, and we're now well over 400. And so I don't have the tally on exactly who the 400th person was. I know we had said we were going to try and make a little pomp and circumstance and kind of a big deal about who that 400th person was. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and do that for the 500th person. See if we can't get some software in here to actually let us know when that 500 mark actually hits. But first person on the list I'd like to pay some homage to would be Brian McDonald, our newest subscriber here on our YouTube channel.
And also like to welcome Taylor Hines for joining us and helping bring us to that 409th subscriber count.
Indeed, we have Mad Matt on board as well. That's a cool name. So glad that he's on here as well.
And we'll round out our list with Keith Evans. And if you guys keep subscribing to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/xjtalk, we'll be doing all these names for a long, long time to come.
Nothing wrong with that now, is there?
not a thing. Yeah, unfortunately, we had, I thought, well, look, I'm getting an email. I see that this is going to be our 400th subscriber, and I wanted to look at the count, and it was 401. So 2 people subscribed almost simultaneously. I thought I actually might be able to tell who the 400th was, but unfortunately not, and it's just not fair to name one over the other. So we'll wait for the 500th and see if we can't figure out a way to, I don't know, get these people in a line. So instead of this parallel type stuff, that makes it difficult to see who crossed the finish line at the right time.
Yeah, it does. But that 500 mark is going to be a big deal, guys. We're definitely going to have to make something of that, and it's definitely a good goal to hit. We'll just keep on rolling right along. Make sure you guys are telling a friend about our YouTube channel. Of course, it's how you can participate, join in, and watch the live events as they happen only on Thursdays and only at 10 p.m. Central Time. Of course, we have a ton of other content on our YouTube channel. We encourage you guys to check it out. Tony's always posting up cool videos on there of all sorts of stuff. And of course, the show archive of our live shows is on there as well.
You know, I haven't done any videos here in a while, and hopefully very, very soon. I know this is like a tease, but there will be some off-road videos in the nice red Jeep coming very, very soon. Hey, Josh, let's get into our favorite segment, Chit Chat.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of some wheeling videos, you know, I mentioned here in the last few shows that I had gotten a GoPro video camera there, one of those little sport cameras for Christmas. And I recently went on a wheeling trip, and unfortunately, I don't have any video footage to give you guys, and that's because my GoPro is in the Philippines right now. And yeah, I've got, I know, right? How the hell did it get there? Completely random. No, I've got a buddy who's took a little 2-week trip out to the Philippines, and he really didn't have anything other than a point and shoot to take with him. I was like, look, man, you're going on a trip of a lifetime. Here, take this. I insist. You know, just make sure it comes back. You know, I'd like to get it back, but here, take the GoPro. You're gonna have a lot of fun. Make sure you get some good footage. That's all I ask. So, but I did go up this last weekend with Wes 92 War Wagon and his buddy Donovan, who just got a new to him 96 XJ. And I've talked a little bit about that over the last couple shows. Won't go into too much detail about it, but we had a good time. This is a shakedown run for Donovan's Cherokee. It's his first time wheeling it. Really, he's only driven it a few times. It's a toy. He bought it as a toy, and so it's rarely going to see any street time. We were going to trailer it up there to the Tillamook State Forest, the Browns Camp wheeling area. But he didn't have the right straps to tie it down, and I wasn't about to let him load up a Jeep onto a trailer and secure it unsafely. So we drove it out there, which was a good test to make sure that this thing could drive out to the trails and drive back, which it did, and it did just fine. We did have a couple of bugs out on the trail. His transfer case didn't want to stay into 4-low. We had to do some last-minute linkage adjustment, trail side underneath the Jeep. That was a little fun. It reminded me back in the days when after I first lifted my Jeep, having some fun with getting the linkage adjusted to get it to stay or even go into 4-low. We've got some stuff to do. I think he might end up needing to do a full rebuild on his 231 that he has under there. I didn't hear any chain rattling, but something tells me that the little pads on the shift fork inside that 231 transfer case are worn and or missing, if anything. So we'll have to tear into that and check that out and see what's all happening with that. But Wes's Jeep did very well. He took the family out there. Donovan had his family out there. I was running solo that time. I just had a camera and a cooler with me. I had some lunch, and we had a good time. It was kind of a short wheeling trip, but nonetheless, took him out, and we were going off for a quick run. Only going to hit a couple of trails, and we actually made some pretty good time. And none of us were really ready to call it a day yet. So we wanted to maybe hit one last section of trails. So I took him on the other side of the mountain to an area called Bates Road. And I know you're thinking Norman Bates and, ching, 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 and knife in the shower. No, it's not quite that bad, but it is one heck of a hill climb trail. And I'm talking a massive change of elevation. And the trail isn't all that severe. There's bypasses for some of the stuff that gets a little bit underdug and whatnot, but it is a pretty substantial hill climb. You got to put a little skinny pedal into it, and you got to get a good run at it if you want to make it all the way up to the top. Well, we all did, no problem. There was some, I'm not going to call it any names, but there was a wife in one of the vehicles that got a little sketched out. She's a little afraid of heights, and we were certainly up there in altitude, but we had a lot of fun nonetheless. So
well, that's why the emergency duct tape is there.
That's right. Or, we'll just put a bag over her head next time. So
no. Oh, you didn't go there.
Yeah. But no, I did some bouncing around it. The bypasses are still a fairly good challenge on the Bates Road section on these trails. I, of course, did not take the bypasses. I was up there to have a little bit of fun. And I've been on this section of trail several times before. But as I came down from these sections of trail, I noticed my front end was making a little bit of noise that it hadn't made before. And I think I might have hit the skinny pedal a little bit too hard, or just hit a bump just not quite the right way. Now, I really wasn't thrashing on it. I really hadn't hammered it down all that hard. I've certainly wheeled my Cherokee a lot harder than what I did this last weekend. So I was, I wasn't too terribly concerned because I know I hadn't really put it through its paces all that hard. But nonetheless, it was definitely some cause for some concern. But upon further inspection, I determined that my front passenger ball joints and I don't know exactly which one, upper or lower. In either case, they all are going to get replaced. But I thrashed a ball joint pretty good as the front end was kind of have a little bit of a shimmy and definitely had a little bit of a clunk to it as I was heading home and coming down off the trail. So here in the very near future, I'm going to be doing some ball joints.
Well, you know what? That might be the popping noise that I was hearing on the 99 when it would back out of the driveway. Since you mentioned that. Now, I don't know how many of you guys follow XJ Talk on Facebook and Twitter, but I recently posted a picture up on Facebook and Twitter of the 99 that has on the passenger tire half of the tread missing.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you could almost draw a line down the middle of that tire and see half the tread. It's a very nice tire on half and not a nice tire on the other half, and it was the outside portion of the wheel. Now, I've done some stuff to the Jeep, put the lift kit on it, changed out all the front end parts, not including the ball joints, but new drag links, so on and so forth. And I thought, well, I did an eyeball type alignment, but it probably needs to be aligned. My buddy says, well, it's probably not the alignment, but get it aligned. They'll tell you what's wrong with it one way or another.
Yeah, typically if you're having tire wear like that and it is an alignment issue, more than oftentimes you'll see that kind of tire wear on both sides and not just one.
Yeah, that's exactly what I expected. So when Firestone said your upper, well, actually they said the two upper ball joints on the passenger side need to be replaced. And I got about half of two, and she corrected to both sides.
Yeah, there we go.
So I was like, okay, that's the thing that makes me nervous about these places is that you don't know what they know about your vehicle. And they may know about modern day vehicles, but not about the Jeep, or not know anything about front axle vehicles. But anyway, so that just confirmed what I needed to know. I placed an order for two pairs of Spicer ball joints from Amazon.com, and that was about $100 for the for all of them. I think that's right. I think they were
well, so
yeah,
real
total
quick,
of $99.30 for those four. Go ahead.
Real quick. So we had, I think just the last episode, we're talking real quick about ball joints and prices. And I had a buddy who had gotten quoted $250 for a set of 4 Moog ball joints. And then just while we were doing the show, I had looked up on Amazon.com and found a set of Alloy USA ball joints, set of uppers and lowers for $118, I think shipped even from Amazon.com. And I thought that was a pretty good price. Now, if you got Spicer ball joints, both sets, upper and lower, for $100, man, I think that's a pretty sweet deal.
Well, the Spicer is what came on it, and I figure if it got 170,000 miles out of the 2 pair that's on there now, I mean, I don't know when they actually went bad, but 170,000 miles on it, I'll put another set in there. And besides, this is for the 99 and not my 98, so I may be looking at Alloy or another brand for mine. I just have to do more research. But this was a quick thing I needed to get done, so I went with Spicer. So I got.
Tony, do you have the tools to do it, or are you gonna have a shop do it?
Oh, it's done, man.
Oh, wow, very good.
Yeah, that's part of the story. Wait for it. So anyway, see, I told you guys on the pre-show, Josh and I really don't talk about things before like during the week. So he's hearing this thing for the first time. So anyway, I also did my research, and this was a research I did a couple of months ago, and I actually had these parts in my wish list on Amazon.com, and it just so happened that it was the 99 that turned out to be the first thing that I needed to fix. Because remember, guys, I got 3 Jeeps, so that's 3 sets of ball joints that I'm looking at replacing. So I figured it was worth getting the OTC 7894 ball joint service adapter for Jeep/Dodge. And basically what these things are big, huge hunks of metal cylinders that fit perfectly on the Spicer ball joints. And it has a little metal for the other side of the ball joint. It has a little cap that allows enough room so that the ball joint can be pressed into the what would you call that on the day of 30? It's not the knuckle. It's the part that the ball joints go into. Is that just the axle?
That is the knuckle. Yeah.
Well, what's the part that turns on it?
Well, okay. So I guess you're right. You're right. So there's the flange or whatever, and then you have the knuckle that actually pivots on the ball joint.
I like flange. Flange sounds good.
Go with that. I'm sure there's some sort of scientific terminology that goes with that, but we'll go with flange.
Yeah, I'd like to know what that's called. Guys, let us know. But anyway, the part that holds the ball joints that gets pressed into. So this little thing came with the little part that allows you to put that on there and twist it at the right angle, because it's not flat, it's not level. They took into account for that slope on the flange. So you can actually press the ball joint out straight and press it in straight without having to use little washers or a big thick piece of metal to make up that gap. Worked out great. Now, I'll tell you real quick, it's a little nerve-wracking putting the big-ass C-clamp on there to press the ball joint out. And I'm telling you, I was using a 3-foot torque wrench at one point trying to get that ball joint out. And I went as far as I could go with it. And I'm a big boy. And I'm thinking to myself, that C-clamp is going to break. It probably won't. But I just didn't like the idea of being that close to that big a piece of metal when it came apart. So I took my little mini sledge, just a little bit, it's about the hammer size, and I tapped on the flange, the part that goes around the ball joint, and tapped it a few times, and bam, it let loose.
Yeah, when those things release, especially if there's any amount of corrosion or anything built up in those, I mean, there's a lot of force. These are a pressed-in item. It's not just something you screw in or drops down in the hole. They are pressed in,
and it's a large hunk of metal too on both both surfaces. Very large pieces of metal and substantial.
Yeah, you got all that force in there, and there's a lot of tension, a lot of kinetic energy or potential energy built up on that both on the ball joint itself as well as that C clamp, and that's a lot of tension all built up. And you give it a good whack with the hammer, when all that tension releases, you better have some earplugs in.
Yep, it released, and I thought, oh, this is wonderful. This is now, guys, this is the first time I've ever done ball joints, so I didn't know what to expect. And it released. I took the nice fancy $75 worth of tools, the little clamp things, not even counting the $100 big C clamp. So anyway, I took all that stuff off there and went to pull that ball joint out. It was not ready to come out. I had to put it all back on. and go through the same thing and tap it with the hammer. And it did it about 3 times. So I'm telling you, when you get to the point where you think it won't go any further, just tap the flange, not the ball joint, even though at this point you don't really have to worry about damaging the ball joint because it's coming out of there. But just tap the side and it will release. And it took me about 5 hours on last Saturday, to do the passenger side. And then I went out there on Sunday, and it took me maybe 2 hours because I knew what to expect. It was very quick. I do not fear changing ball joints. Now, I will say this 99, even though we got it used, was a Texas Jeep. So I'm sure I didn't have to go through some of the grumbling and bitching and moaning that a lot of you guys have to do that when you live out there in the Rust Belt. So don't hesitate to do the ball joints. Oh, and I did get some PB Blaster my first time to use that stuff. Boy, it stinks.
Yeah, it does, but it does work.
Yep. So ball joints are on. We still need to go get the alignment, and then we're going to be replacing a tire and using one of the brand, or rather the brand new spare that's in the back. And we'll have 2 new tires there on the back, and we'll all be good again.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the fact of having to use a hammer, folks. You definitely don't want to, try and force the C-clamp to do all the work, especially those of us out there who are using like the big Harbor Freight C-clamp, the 4-wheel drive ball joint service toolkit, as it is so labeled. It's a great tool. It will certainly do the trick. It's great for U-joints. It's great for axle U-joints. It's great for even ball joints, is what it's designed for. Except you don't want to make it do all the work. And that's where the hammer comes in. And you get that shock wave of all that force going through the knuckle, going through the axle, the flange, the ball joint itself, and it releases that tension built up in the press. The press tool is just there to kind of do most of the work, and that hammer is actually going to do a lot of the work itself as well. So don't try and you don't even have to use a whole lot of heat. Obviously, those of you in the Rust Belt, you want to use penetrating oil. A little bit of heat wouldn't hurt, but make sure you got a hammer, and you're going to need one of those big C-clamps.
Yeah, and also too, I didn't mention it was a little hard getting the knuckle off the Dana 30 flange. And I did see a real good video where you use a couple, like a big sledge and another sledge to tap the thing off there. I actually used a pickle fork and was able to get it off with an air chisel. Anyway, we need to move along here. We went a little long on our chit-chat session, as we normally do. Hopefully, if we get wrapped up here in time, we can revisit it, Josh.
Absolutely. I was going to say I can't wait for the review on those Spicer ball joints, and I was going to use that as a segue to go right into our iTunes review segment, where we ask you guys to go ahead and head over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Our entire podcast is there for your downloading pleasure, as well as on Stitcher Radio. We encourage you guys to head over there and please comment and rate us. Give us a 5-star review if you so would. We'll take any review that we can get. We would definitely appreciate a 5-star review, though, if you can. And we recently had a 5-star review from one of our listeners, one of the fans of the show. XJ Awesomeness is how he describes us, by XJ Jake. And he says, I love listening to the show. You guys are funny and informative. It's an easy listen for the drive to work, and I look forward to the new episodes coming out every week. Keep up the good work, guys. Keep it light, and thank you for the show and the forum. I love them both.
Man, I love hearing that.
Yeah, really. I love these kind of reviews. It's way cool, and I'm very happy to read this kind of stuff on the air. So if you guys would like a review read on the air, well, head over to Stitcher, head over to iTunes, and give us a 5-star review. Leave a comment. You'll be sure to get on the air.
Yep. And I like hearing about the drive to and from work, because that's how I listen to podcasts. It's like talk radio. It's a lot of fun. So let's get on to our voicemails, Josh. And that reminds me, Nikki G had said he's not hearing the music anymore on the answering machine. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Google Plus must have screwed us over.
Uh-oh.
Hey, this is Tony.
And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Hi, guys. This is James, spells PT in the forum, calling in from the other side, continental Europe. I was listening to your rant about the traffic in the fast lane, slow lane deal. See, Over here in Europe, we fixed that whole problem. We don't have fast lane and slow lanes. We have driving lanes and passing lanes. What you guys need to do is call your congressman and ask them to repave all your highways. That way they have passing lane and driving lanes. See, how it works is the driving lane, the right-hand-most lane, is used for driving at normal speeds, close to the limit. The passing lane is used for when you want to pass somebody. After passing the person you have passed, you should move over to the driving lane. Passing lane if you don't need to be in that lane. So that's how it works over here, and it actually works quite well. High beam flashing is perfectly acceptable if you're coming up on a slow-moving car and you want them to get out of your way. It is quite normal to get passed on the highway with a vehicle doing easily 50% more than you are, even though you could be going 60 to 80 miles an hour. Anyway, so get on that and then write your letter to call your congressman and get all your highways repaved with passing lanes instead of this fast lane, slow lane, because you might get somebody in there driving 60 who thinks they're driving awful fast, so they need to be in the fast lane. Get on it. Talk to you later.
Hey, appreciate that information, James. The only problem is in Texas, if you start flashing your lights, you might get a warning shot across your bow.
Yeah, I was going to say, up here, I think the only thing that's going to get paved new is going to be some granola or something like that. Yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon, James, no matter how much I bitch to the congressman.
Hey, this is Nicky G. And I've got a little problem with the Jeep this week. Doing some work on it, and I'm getting a little older and wiser, so I figure safety third. When I jack it up, I want to put it on a set of stands. So I go to the store to get some stands. So I've been using cinder blocks my whole life.
Oh, no.
Like my daddy before me, him. Just like my daddy before me, my daddy before him. Anyhow, so I go to the store to get some stands. And all I could find are jack stands. Now, who is this guy Jack, and why does he need so many stands? And how come Walmart doesn't stock mixed stands? And they looked at me funny when I asked to special order it. Yeah, it's a conundrum, guys. All right, I'll chat to you later. You guys have a good one. Bye.
Always appreciate the offerings from Nicky G. And he reminds me of the Saturday Night Live skit from the original crew where, I can't remember her name. She was always getting the information wrong. And then Chevy Chase would correct her. No, it means this. And she'd go, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I figure, I was going to say, I think the tinfoil on Nicky's head is getting in the way of hearing the music.
Yeah, it very possibly could be.
Hello, everyone. My name is Harry Franco, or the Big Dog on most off-road Jeep forums. Just wanted to tell everybody about a project I'm trying to get off the ground. It's called Hidden Wounds XJ. What are hidden wounds? Well, veterans are coming back from war with hidden wounds. They were once called shell shock and battle fatigue. Today they have a new name called post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, and traumatic brain injury, or TBI. PTSD and TBI are hidden wounds because there are no visible wounds or scars. I personally have PTSD, and I'm 70% service-connected disabled. But I'm getting the help I need, but there are veterans out there that are not. I want to build up this Jeep Cherokee to take to events like car shows, off-road events, and veterans events to help raise awareness to the general public about PTSD and TBI. It seems everyone knows someone that is deployed, so I'm getting the help I need. I want every veteran to get the help they deserve. I have a Facebook page where I sell stickers, and I currently have a raffle going on to help raise money for the project. The Facebook page is facebook.com/HiddenWoundsXJ, and Hidden Wounds XJ is one word. Thank you, and please visit my Facebook page. Thank you.
No disrespect to our first caller, James, but if you're going to call your congressman about something, I think you should call them and tell them we need to pay our soldiers a good wage, and we also need to make sure that they find jobs. And I think if we're going to be spending billions of dollars on things like health care for people that are not working for it, we ought to spend that money on our soldiers, because they're the ones that have put their life on the line, and the ones that the majority obviously are making it back, but they have these problems, including missing limbs. and traumatic head injuries, that they're not the same people they were before, and they may not even be able to support their family like they were before. So we need to think about our military every day, because they're the reasons why we're still living the life we're living now.
Absolutely. Really, thanks again, Harry, for calling in with that. I do some work with the Wounded Warrior Project. It's just nice to see something else along those same lines that, really benefit our soldiers, especially those coming back with these kind of issues. So thanks again for calling in, and hope to hear back from you often.
Hey, this is Nikki G. And Josh is getting paid to wheel. That's great. Corporate sellout. Corporate sellout. See you later. Bye.
Absolutely. Hey, I was going to ask you, so that wasn't the corporate wheeling thing, the corporate sellout wheeling thing that you did this past weekend?
No, this last weekend was just a little fun run. So no, that'll be coming up. The getting paid to wheel run will be coming up here later in March, I guess.
Oh yeah, wheeling whore.
Yes. I know. I'm not going to hear the end of this.
Message from Josh's subconscious. Yoo-hoo! Did you guys hear that I'm going to get paid to take strangers up in the woods? I told them I'd take the men up there for free. Anyways, I'm thinking about writing a screenplay. It starts out with two guys out wheeling in the Pueblo Mountains, and all of a sudden they break down because their Jeep isn't red. They end up having to get rescued by these park rangers, but their siren is broken, so they just have one of them just sitting on the top of the truck just going, woo, 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 woo. And then they make a campfire and demonstrate their knowledge about keeping warm. Yes. I think I'll call it Rope Jeep Mountain. Anyways, it's time for my curlers to come out. Toodaloo!
Damn, Josh. You're a colorful person inside your head.
I don't have my curlers in tonight, so trying to try some different styles and stuff. And hey, never underestimate the benefit of some cuddling in the woods to keep yourself warm.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, man. All right, let's get to our Jeep tip segment. This is going to be winching part 2. And I'm just going to tell you now, Josh, because I know you're going to be disappointed, but a lot of what Steve talks about in here just reaffirms that I was right when we talked about snow winching.
Oh, yeah.
And now for a disclaimer. Jeep Tips is for entertainment purposes only. If you choose to follow these tips, man up and take the responsibility for your own actions. If you cannot, or you feel that working on your Jeep is beyond your abilities, seek the help or advice of a trained, certified mechanic.
Got a tip? We do. It's time for Jeep Tips.
Today I'd like to talk about winching. A couple of weeks ago, Tony had a series by me on winching, and then we also had Josh make some comments about rescuing people in snow around the Portland area. And Tony asked me to talk about a few more things involved with winching. First of all, I'd like to say that a winch is not a license to be stupid. A lot of us think that we have a winch on our vehicle, we can get out of anything, and so we'll try the impossible. And frankly, a smart wheeler is not going to try everything or to take every line. It just isn't good for our vehicles, and it can make for some tears later on. If the mud hole looks too deep, it just might be. And if it looks too steep, it just might be too. So we need to have a few ounces of common sense involved, even if we do have that insurance policy on the front bumper. Now there's another thing that you need to know about winches, and that is that if you come upon somebody that you want to winch out of that mud hole they couldn't get through, it's much easier to go back out the way you came than it is to go forward. So if you have to rescue somebody, yeah, it might be nice to go forward, and unless there's a compelling reason that the vehicle needs to go forward through some obstacle that it couldn't get through, the best practice really is to get around behind it and take it out the way that it went in. It's far easier because the differentials have already cleared debris, and you know that the vehicle can make it that far. So if you come up against some unseen obstacle going forward, it can cause you a little grief. And there's all kinds of stories in four-wheeler and off-road magazines and so forth of impossible stucks that happen because of things that don't involve a lot of common sense and of trying to get a vehicle through something that it shouldn't have gone through in the first place. Now, when you come across somebody that is stuck and you want to help them out, and we all want to be good Samaritans, it's just part of the wheeling community. If you come upon people that need help, you should help them. But there's a few little rules that you need to follow to cover your own ass. And one is if they have tow points, that's great. You can hook up to a tow point and you can pull them out and without any big deal. However, you always want to have them hook it up. Because if something does happen, let's face it, you're going to be liable for it if you hook it up. If they hook it up, and if you are winching them at their request, then the liability is on them. And if their tow points aren't properly secured, or the welds break, or any other number of stupid little things that can happen, then that's their problem. It's not yours. And if their equipment is faulty, you want to keep it their problem and not have it be yours. Now, there's going to be times that you come across people that need to be pulled out. They're stuck in the snow. They've bought their Jeep for the first time and took it up wheeling and got it stuck and so forth and so on. And they don't have tow points attached. And this can be a problem for a winch. A winch puts a lot of force on something. If you're down to that last wrap on the drum, my winch will put almost 5 tons of force on that rig that's in front of me. And that's a lot when you think about it. 9,500 pounds is a lot of pull. And so you have to kind of watch what you're pulling on. So there's some things that you need to do. First, if you're going to have to pull somebody out, and they don't have tow points, you need to attach to something solid. Now, with a Jeep, that's not too bad. You can attach to an axle tube. And as long as you don't pinch a brake line or something like that, attaching to an axle tube by a spring perch or a suspension link is a very acceptable way, in my opinion, to handle that situation. What you don't want to do is attach to the bumper, unless it's a very substantial bumper that somebody's put on, an aftermarket bumper. Or you don't want to attach to sway bars or anything that's just held on by very small bolts. So when you're doing this, there is some equipment that it helps to have. One of the things that I carry is a snatch strap, and that should be part of everybody's repertoire. And my strap is a 20-foot, 2-inch strap, and it is just like any other strap you can buy, with one exception. I have put a short length of log chain on one end of it with a hook on it so that you can hook into the links again and form a loop. So if you have to attach to an axle, let's say, or some other substantial point, and your clevises, which will go around hardly anything, won't get over it, you can use this little piece of chain. Mine is 2 feet long, and you can go around an axle tube or something else that's substantial, and it won't be a problem. You can have a nice, secure, solid place to attach, and you can go from there. Another trick that you can use is to use your tree strap. Everybody should have a tree strap, by the way, in their little bag of tricks to go with their winch. And with this tree strap, what you can do is you can attach to more than one place on a vehicle. You can loop the strap through itself on one end, and then you can attach to that to something, a suspension A-arm, for instance, on a car, and then you can go to the other side and use that with a little short piece of chain or something, and you can attach to the other side. And then you can put a good strong pull on a car even an import, let's say, and bring them out just fine without any damage. And indeed, if you were driving a wrecker, this is one of the things you would do. You would look for points like that. They have nice big hooks to do that with, but I don't like carrying that much weight. So that's what I use, my tree strap. Another thing is if you've got a hard pull and somebody's got toe points, you can attach your strap with your clevises to, say, 2 front toe points on the bumper and minimize the stress on them that way. So anything to take it easy on the vehicle is a good thing. And remember, have the owner hook it up. And if you think it's going to be a problem, take a picture of them doing it so that you've got a record of them doing it. Now, the other thing that I carry in my little bag of tricks for my winch is a snatch block. And one of the things, for instance, if you are stuck in a road, I've been that way on snow, for instance, and need to winch, all the trees are off to one side, or the brush, if you want to hook to the base of the brush, they're not in the middle of the road, and you probably need to go down the middle of the road. So you can take your snatch strap and clevises and so forth, and you can attach to a piece of brush or a tree on one side, put the strap to the middle of the road, put the snatch block on the end of that strap, and then the cable can go through your snatch block and go through to the tree, which is over on the other side of the road, and winch yourself down the center of the road, which is probably where you want to go anyway. Now, there's one more thing that I want to address here, and I came across a situation one time where I was wheeling in the Rubicon Trail area, and I came across a pickup that was stuck in the snow. It was a late model Chevy 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive, and the thing weighed 6,800 pounds empty. And that's just really hard to move with an XJ that only weighs 3,400 pounds. In other words, half. And I thought, well, I'd help this guy out, and so I went out there and hooked up to him and couldn't budge him on the snow, so I stretched all the cable out, hooked up all the straps I had and everything, and got myself on pavement and started the winch up, and I actually moved the Jeep, skidded the tires across the pavement, and couldn't budge that pickup. So the owner of the pickup said, "Hey, no problem. We'll just chain your XJ up to a tree, and then you can really give me a good pull." And I said, we're not doing that. You can get away with stuff like that with a vehicle that has a frame. But you have to remember that a Cherokee doesn't have a frame. It's a unibody vehicle. And if you start chaining it up things and putting 5 tons of pressure on it, you could incur some damage to your own vehicle. And I just said, hey, man, I can't do that. I just can't hook my vehicle up to a tree like that and start pulling. It doesn't have a real frame. So it ended up, I couldn't get the guy out. Fortunately, he had some other help coming, and I said, well, sorry, man, as long as you got help coming. And I took off. So it's, it may not be that you can get everybody out, but you need to be sure that you're only pulling with the force of your own vehicle involved. That way you won't tear anything apart, and you may not break any cables either, or winch rope. So in the end, it's just a lot of common sense. You got to think things out beforehand and make sure that you don't make a blunder into a worse blunder by not using proper winching practices.
Well, I sure appreciate that tip from Steve. Winching part 2. There's a lot to know about winching. It's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of tricks and tips that can really improve your recovery techniques when, well, out in the snow, on the road, or even off the road.
Yep. Well, guys, that's another show. Episode 118 is in the bag, in the can. We'll have to do a show from the can one time. I'd have to move all the stuff downstairs. My wife would really think I was insane.
Well, I don't know if I have a mic cord quite that long enough.
or one you want to throw away after you've used it.
Exactly.
Hey, guys, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, also Stitcher Radio. Stitcher Radio also has a review process. Give us 5 stars and give us a review. We've only got 2 reviews over there. So
yeah, we know you guys are
it's
out
free.
there listening.
It's free, so, go sign up. Get it on your phone.
Yeah, we know you guys are out there listening to Stitcher Radio, so just take a moment, head over there, and give us a review and leave a quick comment. We encourage you guys to head over to xjtalk.com, where you can listen clear back to episode 1 if you so desire. The entire show archive is there at your fingertips for your listening pleasure.
Listen to the early episodes and laugh. Don't forget about us on iTunes. Of course, we mentioned YouTube, the websites. Don't forget about xjtalk.com. That's the reason why we're here. It's the premier Jeep Cherokee website, no matter what you may have heard. And Josh, March, the first part of March, I think it's March 3rd, 5 years will be the site will have been up for 5 years, and we've never had a fight.
That's awesome, man. Looking forward to another birthday party there. And we want to thank Rob for our first Wrangler segment. Glad to have him on board. Hopefully we'll be able to get some regular content coming over from him. Guys, don't forget, you can be a part of the show as well by giving us a 24/7 voicemail line a call. That number, 530-675-4102. We got a third seat open. It could be just for you.
Well, Josh, have you done ball joints before?
I've done them on other vehicles. I haven't done them on Jeeps yet, but my ball joint service tool has been used for at least 3 different sets of ball joints now. So my tool has been used on more balls than my own. Wait, what?
Wow. That's saying a lot, and you're a hell of a guy for having the courage to say it.
All right, guys, thanks for joining in. Make sure you check us out next week. We'll see you next time.
Good night. Okie dokie. Oh, I didn't look before I hit, before I stopped the thing. I think we were at an hour 10.
I think we started right at 10 after, or maybe it was 8 after. So yeah, you might be right. It's either an hour 10 or an hour 8, one or the other.
Still not too bad with that much content.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, for everything that we had in the show, I think that's pretty good.
So I didn't notice when I started talking about the ball joints. I tried to keep it short. I went a lot longer than what I anticipated.
There's a lot of tech that goes into a ball joint service. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to do, and we only scratched the surface.
Yeah. Actually, that might be a great Jeep tip to get Steve or maybe one of our other listeners would actually like to step in. And I don't know if you guys realize this or not. By the way, this is the post show. We're done with the recording of the regular audio podcast. But I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the Jeep tips section is open to multiple people, just like the Wrangler section is or segment is. Rob certainly is the one that's taken the reins and is moving forward with it, and we really appreciate that. But if you'd like to do a Wrangler segment, we'll be more than happy to get it on here. Same thing with Jeep tips. Steve doesn't have to be the only person doing it. Certainly he's very good at it, and we really appreciate it. And he keeps them coming in just like regular clockwork. We love playing them. So he is just full of a wealth of knowledge, and we're very lucky to have him on xjtalk.com. And by the way, if you guys aren't members of xjtalk.com, either the live audience or the folks that may be watching this video later, you need to join, because you may be asking people that hey, I've got this noise or this thing happens, and what do I do? You may not feel comfortable going to other XJ sites because you see how people are treated, and sometimes they're even treated badly by the moderators there, which still puzzles me. So, but if you come to xjtalk.com, we make sure that you're treated fairly and with respect. And if you're not, we fix it.
Yep, absolutely. And in fact, I haven't heard but maybe one story of somebody that got a little bit out of hand. But again, it's very few, very far between, and it always gets handled very quickly. There's tons of people on there that are asking, first-time XJ Jeep owner type of questions. And, other sites, people would say, these are stupid questions, or here, let me Google that for you, or, things like that. These are the kind of things that really turn people off, make them feel uncomfortable about asking for help in the future, or about asking for help in an emergency that they have. They need help right away. These are the kind of things that get taken care of, that get answered on a regular basis with lots of helpful tech by lots of people who know what they're talking about, industry professionals, even. It's just the premier site. When we say the premier site, we absolutely mean it. And it's because of the kind of information that gets dealt out on xjtalk.com. The forums are just so full of excellent tech, excellent advice, and a lot of fun, too.
Also, too, don't talk about it nearly enough. We have wranglertalk.com, which isn't used very much. And, if we got 5 people over there, 5 regular people, it would mushroom into the same thing we have at xjtalk.com. And again, the main reason for that, well, it's twofold. One, I've got a TJ. I like it. I've always liked Wranglers. Went to buy a Wrangler whenever we bought this Cherokee instead, because of our 2 little girls, and of course fell in love with it. And it's been a member of the family since '98. So, but anyway, I'd love to see the same type of activity on wranglertalk.com, simply because it would be neat to have a big Jeep family of both XJs and Wranglers, and you don't know what it'll expand to. Now, of course, we have a Wrangler section on xjtalk.com, so if you may be perfectly happy with the Jeep Wrangler site that you're currently on. And that's great, but if you're experiencing the type of things that we're talking about, as far as it not being friendly, not being very helpful, being fearful to post, which you should never be fearful to post a question, no matter what it is. If that's the case, come on over to xjtalk.com or wranglertalk.com and post your question. It may take a while for Wrangler Talk to take off, but like I say, we get 5 people there posting regularly. You'd be surprised how fast it'll go, because that's what happened with xjtalk.com. We just had 5 regulars when we started 5 years ago, and I haven't looked at it recently. We've got well over 3,000 members, and usually between 30 and 50 people on the site at any time, during the day. It's funny how more people are on during work than any time else,
Yeah, well, you got people like me that sit in front of a computer all day, and we've got the means to do it. And honestly, I'm going to pat my own back here a little bit. And I don't mean to come across conceited by any stretch of the imagination, but it's people like me who are in that position that are able to get that tech advice and that help out to the people who need it, right now. A lot of times it's people posting up, hey, I'm in this situation. I don't know what to do. I've got this. What do you guys think about that? And it's people like me that are out in front of a computer all day that see these posts pop up. We're able to answer right away. And of course, other people start chiming in relatively fast. And before you know it, you've got, from just one question, a dozen posts of somebody, getting some help, getting advice, and hopefully taking care of the issue at hand.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see as much activity as we have on there. And I've kind of taken a back seat to my activity there on the site. I'm doing a lot of Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus type stuff. And I love seeing that there's so many people jumping in, answering questions, welcoming people to the site. And I'm not the one doing all of it like it was for the first 3 years when I was doing a lot of it. Now, I got a lot of help. The moderators on there are great, all hand-picked and picked by committee, by the way, not just somebody that I said, this is your next moderator. We always go through the process of asking everybody that's on the staff, what do you think? And that's why Josh isn't a moderator, because nobody wanted him on as a. No, I'm just joking. Josh,
I'm sure there's a little truth into that.
No, not at all, not at all. I'm just picking on you. But you're such an integral part of the show, and it's never come up. I don't know. Actually, I think it has come up. and I can't remember now who we went with instead. I was a little concerned that you might have too much involvement, honestly.
Well, and no, and that's I've never brought it up, and I never would, but I figured that was the reason. I mean, here I am on the show. I'm so active in chat. I'm fairly active on the site and the forums.
Very active. Appreciative too.
I didn't want anybody to come across. And honestly, if it had been proposed to me, I probably would have turned it down, because I wouldn't want anybody to think, well, this guy's he's got his hand in everything. That's not very fair. That sort of. I didn't want anybody to get jealous or get the wrong idea or, whatever. It's probably for the best that I'm not a moderator. Now, if the position, it's like, dude, they're dropping off like flies. We need somebody to fill in a position. Can you moderate for a few weeks or something, something like that? Of course, I would, step in and lend a hand. But, I've got plenty of involvement with the site and the podcast and everything else, as it is. So, the way I look at it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Actually, I'm remembering now. I think that I actually put in there. Josh is a president over what do you call it? A chapter president over at Naxja, and with your 160 hours at work, the 2 podcasts that we were doing, and that I just said, I think that we probably don't need to put the pressure on Josh for a moderator position, and kind of remember who we got instead. But there was 2 people.
Was it Amber?
It may have been. And my push has been, I want to get more women involved with xjtalk.com, and not it's not what you think, guys. I think it's a great hobby, and I like seeing women involved in this. It's certainly nothing that a woman can't do. I mean, it's a great hobby, and I think that it's our onus is to get more women involved in it. I mean, if nothing else, it's somebody prettier to talk to out on the trail.
Yeah, you got that right.
All right. Well, that's a lot of talk and a lot of salesmanship, but unfortunately, that wasn't anything that was planned. It's just a passion that you're hearing from Josh and I about the site. I'm just amazed that it's working out as well as it is, and I'm amazed that our show is working out as well as it is. I can't believe you guys are here at late on a Thursday night watching us. So really, really appreciate all the involvement you guys have, and especially the ones out there, because it was just me. I mean, I just started the site. It's like the old 40s movie. Hey, my dad's got a barn. Let's put on a show. So that was kind of the way it was for me whenever I did the site, and then came up with the idea for doing the podcast. And here's Josh. I mean, the show easily tripled or quadrupled in popularity after Josh joined, and we just got lucky that Josh and I hit it off well enough where we kind of had an instant rapport, which is very critical to a popular show.
Well, kind words, Tony, and I, like I've said many times, I'm very glad to be a part of this. I'm glad you've kept me around. So, and like I've mentioned on so many times, I have a blast doing this, and wouldn't change it for the world.
It's a lot of fun. I remember when I first started doing the podcast, I was having a hard time talking, and it just kind of came to my mind that, hey guys, you have to understand, I'm having a hard time talking. I've been married 20 years, and I'm not used to talking.
Yeah, right. Well,
my wife even thought that was funny.
Kind of weird tonight as we came back out of Rob's segment. I had a really bad echo in my campus, and it really kind of surprised me because I hadn't heard that in a long time since the early days of when I first started joining in on this, and it was really getting to me at first there because I haven't heard it in so long, and I kind of forgotten how to deal with it, and I kind of just stumbled over myself a little bit, and finally, okay, I got it rolling, and then the echo went away. But it was just kind of one of those things that it pops up, and it's like, oh.
I didn't realize that you were having to deal with that. Now, it did it a little bit whenever you came in as far as chopping, and I wonder if that's not something Skype does because you weren't talking for a long time.
I've noticed it before, and it wasn't as pronounced in the past as it was tonight. And it's happened anytime where I'm not on the mic for an extended period of time, like during an interview or a Jeep tip segment or something like that, and I come back and Skype was like, oh, you're back. Okay, well, here, give me a second, and let me get that bandwidth back for you, and okay, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually just a matter of a second or two, and I'll hear a couple of words, and I'm already in my sentence flow, and I don't pay much attention to it. Tonight, however, it was bad. And it was full volume, hearing myself back, a full second delay.
Oh,
and yeah, it was pretty bad. So it threw me off my game a little bit. Yeah. Or start playing the violin here. The world's smallest violin.
Red Jeeps are sexy.
I was you jumped the gun a bit for me. You didn't know what I was gonna do, but when I asked you if the Jeep was red, I was gonna do.
Ooh, red Jeeps are sexy.
And you said no, it's white. You bitch! You weren't listening to me.
Well, I'll take the cue next time. So if you ask me if the Jeep was red, I'll give it a good pause.
Well, you'll sit there and you'll look at me in the camera like, all right. well, and I'll go. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Oh, good times. Well, Tony, I think I've got a script for our promo this evening. Down at the bottom of the show notes, I've just kind of been tweaking a little bit here and there, and I'm sure we're going to end up editing the heck out of this thing as we normally do. But yeah, I think that's a good enough platform to start off with.
Oh, if we keep seeing, I don't know how you guys. Matter of fact, anybody left over in the room here? Hey, I don't know if you guys would be interested in a call-in show, but Josh and I have talked about doing just a live call-in show for a long time now. And
I'm really glad you brought that up, because I was talking with Wes Revel there, 92 War Wagon,
mm-hmm.
and we were kind of just free-forming a little bit about tire size. And he's like, what you guys should do? You should have a discussion like this as to, why would somebody go from 33s to 35s, or what's the big deal with guys being able to crawl over every obstacle on 31s, and these guys with 35s are slipping and sliding. And, just have a discussion about, you pick a topic like that and you just freeform about it, a discussion about it. And, this is something that any one of us, Jeepers can relate to, which is tire size. And you just sort of freeform about it and have a discussion about it. And, a call-in show, a little roundtable discussion like you and I have talked about in the past, would be a great idea for that sort of thing. It'd certainly be a great platform for doing that with anyways.
Yeah, I just, if we had about, we'd have to go pretty quick on our callers, because I know we've done that before where we just get on there and chat with somebody a little too long. I guess kind of take the lead from the radio shows that do it. But we probably would be able to get by with like 10 or 12 callers for an hour show.
Oh, I don't even think we need that many.
Really?
It would be nice. But I mean, honestly, if you and I freeform, just do the back and forth like we normally do, for the lion's share of it, we'd take a caller and, give them a minute or two, chime in, we'd go a little back and forth, and then you and I, continue on with the conversation for a few more minutes, bring somebody else in for a minute or two, that sort of thing. We'd only have to go through, maybe 5 or 6 callers, if that.
Yeah, I probably need to sit down and do the math, but yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. I'd love to have the interaction and have people calling in. It was one of the most fun things that I remember, like when I was working as a computer operator or something on the funny shifts. There was always a talk show that you could listen to late at night, and it was a lot of fun listening to it or calling in and being a part of it, but actually be the one in control and directing the conversation would be, I think, even more so. And we've done some call-in stuff before. It's just we really just hadn't had the numbers of people necessary to be able to count on a good, solid radio type call-in show.
Well, Wes Revel says he'd call in and participate in a live call-in show, and I'm sure just about any one of these other guys that are in our chat currently would be happy to call in and give us a few minutes of their time to BS with us about a particular Jeep topic.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun to have a panel. I like the idea of doing the single topic. Of course, one of the things I'd like to talk about, which somebody posted, replied to a post on xjtalk.com, was about the Jeep sites being purchased by corporations. I'd still like to have a round table about that.
Harry Franco says, talk about tire size, gears, and miles per gallon. Larry Franco chimes in with crawl ratio.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know anything about 35s or crawl ratios other than what I got. I'm limited in my knowledge on those things because I haven't done it.
Well, that's where color commentary would come into play.
Well, that's kind of the neat thing on doing interviews, because most of the time I don't know that much about the person, so I just ask the questions I think everybody else that didn't know would be asking. So it might work out fine that way, not knowing, in other words.
Well, we got two people, at least right now, said that they would call in for a live show. Wesley Revel and Harry Franco would both participate, so glad to see that. I'm sure if we did something across Twitter, posted up on Facebook, threw out the numbers and said, hey, call in this Thursday, we list a date and give a time, and I'm sure we would have at least a few callers on board.
Well, we probably need to sell it, promote it a little bit before it happened. That way.
I'm talking about a good, solid 3 to 4 weeks in advance of, probably every few days posting something up about it.
Maybe we could also line up a few people, ringers, so to speak.
There you go. We get.
I bet you we get Steve. I bet you we get Steve.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's kind of early for us. It's not midnight yet, or midnight my time, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this post show up and record our little promo. If you're not familiar with our promos, I don't know how you couldn't be. We got it on the audio, the Libsyn for the audio, and we've got it on YouTube for the video portion. So if you don't know what our promo is, you're not working hard enough to see or hear it. Anyway, going to wrap up, say good night, and I'll let Josh put the ribbons on it.
All right, guys, thanks for joining in. A very active chat session on YouTube tonight. Love to see that stuff. Hope you guys can tune in on a semi-regular basis, at least. I'd love to chat with you guys again. Thanks again for everybody who left voicemails and all that stuff. And we will be sure to, Harry, to be able to get the XJ Talk Show Facebook page over there to Hidden Wounds XJ page, and I'll be sure to like you guys and get some attention going your way.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.